what Hidon does is he's so strategic in the layering in of the details. So the critical rule here is this: with each new shade or demo of the technique, you're only allowed to add 4 or 5 max new details.
That's a lot.
Now here's what's fascinating. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a little, depending on the complexity of details. 2 or 3. Yeah, that's safe. Of course you can always go safe, but it's a juggle between time and technique. In other words, you want to be on stage for 30 minutes, so you try to squeeze 4 in there sometimes, maybe 5 if there's simple details like this versus this. But in either case, Hidon layers in those details, and man.
Now let's do the third shade.
Yeah, now what's fascinating is when Hidon goes to his third demo, when he's including the next layer of details, he recaps the original ones.
Because they're so simple anyways, and you already know them.
And they solidify more effectively, and they dry more effectively for the student. They're there, they already know them, so they're not considered new, which means you can't have more than 4 or 5 new details inserted at any new demo. And by Hidon repeating the old ones, those count as like, okay, we already got that, we already got that, we already got that. Here's the 4 or 5 right now. But there is value, tremendous value in, I guess, kind of the progressively increasing the amount of information, but making sure that there's no more than 4 or 5 new pieces. But it does compound, it does add up, so that by the time he's doing the last demo, Hidon could be saying 15 or 20 details, but they had a chance to dry on the wall 5 at a time with each rep, and then he starts over and goes again. So this is such a fascinating discovery here, because what does it say? It says that a brand new student learning a brand new move can internalize 25 or 30 details if they're layered in correctly. Shading.
Now, what details you layer in at what layer is important, right?
Yes.
Because there are very, like, for example, the thumbless grip.
Yes.
That's not mentioned at the very end.
Right.
That's such a most common mistake that's kind of layered in layer 2 or 3 sooner than later.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Whatever we know most people do wrong, we're going to throw out there right away.
Right.
Now, something like possibly,
and wait, just side note, because you don't say we're going to throw that in there right away, because those are the ones that we want to exist in all 5 demos. By showing it first, there is certainty that it will get repeated 4 or 5 times, which will mean it'll be most dry by the end of the presentation.
The first thing you learn is the hardest to forget.
Yeah. Say it again.
The first thing you learn is the hardest to forget. Evidence said that.
With that.
So,
Evidence from God, lady?
Yeah. Dang. So basically, get the information out, but do it very carefully. Don't intimidate the person. People get intimidated.
Right.
By too much. It's too. Yes. People are looking for a reason to say, I can't do this. They already walk in a jiu-jitsu class. They already watch a video, and they just to be able to say, you know what, this is stuff I can't do it. To give up on something is very easy, and people want to give up. But when you shade like this and you layer it in correctly, you make it to where, like, man,
they can't not.
I can't give up. I can't not do this stuff. This is too simple. I'll give it a try. And then it's on.
Why do most instructors violate the shading code? And just in case you guys are wondering, shading is because shading, like, right, you're going to draw a sketch, you shade in one very light layer, then you shade the next layer. It could have very easily been called painting, but shading is what, our father used and what has been around for the longest time. And now that we're certifying instructors all over the world, we call it shading.
But our father didn't even call it shading.
Our father did it, yes.
But he didn't call it shading.
He just did it, and we just sat there. And we just tried to absorb.
Uncle John called it shading.
Like young grasshoppers.
Uncle John named it shading.
Uncle John?
Uncle John.
That's right.
Yeah, Uncle John's Garage.
Yes, Uncle John's Gracie Garage, Thousand Oaks, California, Black Belt Gracie Academy, 60 years old, deadly, inspiration to everyone he knows. Uncle John's,
like he said, the most difficult part about teaching is knowing what to say when, and that's what you and he don't do so well. Wow. That you must have learned from your dad, your grandfather, your uncles, everybody else.
Respect.
He saw it.
Now, the funny part is, why is it so difficult? Why do even black belt world champions get on stage, they show the move 1 or 2 times, include 20 details, and say, go, do it?
But 2 reasons why people don't shade. I think the one is that you, by talking a lot and explaining every detail, you could see that as you being intelligent.
Yeah,
like I know all the information.
Right.
So you're putting it all out there.
Like when I did my machine gun demo right here,
you felt good.
I felt like, yeah, Rener Gracie. Yeah.
Now,
I teach fast, I explain quickly. I felt like I was hyping this whole thing up, And I felt like I have a lot of information to deliver, and I felt powerful. But guess what? My students were like, man, this is a ridiculous guy right here. Why is he doing this right now? What's the point of all this?
Correct, but another person that's more advanced could see it and say, man, he's got a lot of details on a simple technique. Another black belt might see that as, man,
forget the other black belts, bro.
I know, it's not about them right now. It's about the rest of the world.
Sorry.
Now, second, our instructors and the main difficulty in shading is that when you think of a detail and when you do something, you want to say what you're doing partly out of fear that you're going to forget to mention the detail later.
100%.
So, and that's why you do it multiple times. That's why I myself, if I don't know what I'm going to say next, I just do the move again in slow motion, observing myself, and I say, hey, you know what? Notice right now that not only am I lifting, but I'm sliding and lifting. So just being able to observe yourself and do it again, because the key is, in all these 5 or 6, let's say you go through 5 run-throughs of a technique.
Yes.
The idea is to add something new in every run-through.
Right.
Why?
I mean, aside from the concept of previously letting the previous stuff dry, why is it important to add something new?
People need you to keep the student's interest. If you show every detail right away, that's one thing. But if you show 2 or 3, and you show 2 more, 3 more, 1 more, 2 more, what it is you're giving information, you're always giving, so you're keeping them
what's next?
Focused on you.
Yes. That's so critical. There was a nugget in here that he don't said it for sure that needs to surface, the gold nugget, and that is the hardest part about shading is knowing what not to say, is knowing what to keep for the next shade or layer or layer of paint in the presentation. So he don't say it. When it comes to mind, you just want to blast it right there out of fear of it not coming back. It's so tricky. And then you said another very important thing, which is knowing, or what you said is sometimes you'll do a shade or a layer and you won't even know what you're going to say the next round.
You don't have to know.
Right, but that's very tricky, bro. Because
all you have to do is do it again
and it'll come to you?
Yes, but you have to observe yourself. Tell yourself what you're doing.
Wow.
Because it's very common for someone to teach a technique and only say 70% of what they actually did.
Right.
And that's because you don't even realize that part of the move involves you moving your foot under the arm. But you do it out of reflex.
Yes.
Because you've done it so many times being the instructor and being the...
So a lot of instructors don't even know what they know to a certain extent.
Correct.
And that's a root of their problem as well.
So by doing the move so slow and any little movement, because for all I know, I could move my foot from here to here and be talking about this part of the technique, but the fact that I didn't say this...
Violation of the code.
Messes the whole technique up.
They need this detail.
If you do it and you need it, they need it.
Wow. So a true a masterful instructor just knows exactly what he knows. And it's like, well, everyone knows what they know. Not really.
No.
You know? And to be able to articulate clearly and completely what you do to make a move work is one extent and one degree of an amazing instructor. But to the next degree, I explained everything very well when I did my thing. I explained every detail of everything I did without shading, and we had a tremendous violation. So you can see there are different pieces to this puzzle of becoming an amazing instructor. The shading concept is is a very critical one that when not adhered to, all the rest can be in place, but this doesn't matter. And there are some other ones that are equally important. You guys, why are we showing this right now? Why are we showing them this for free? This is priceless, right? This is a huge deal.
This is cool because now maybe you can walk into a school,
right,
and you can see somebody teaching, a very basic technique with small details, and then very gradually adding on. People do shade out there.
Some people do it without even having learned from us.
They don't even call it anything, like we didn't call it anything years ago.
They just do it. So if you're a student, this information we just shared about the principle of shading and proper instruction will help you identify amazing instructor, right, to a certain degree if you stumble upon one, and then also help you identify a not so good instructor. You might, just because you walk into a school and the guy's wearing a black belt and has all these certificates on his wall and medals and championships, you might walk in and you watch him teach a move and you're like, oh my gosh, he didn't shade.
Correct.
He didn't even present the information in a digestible format. I don't care what titles he's won. If he can't transfer his knowledge to me in a sensible, easy to follow way, I need to find someone who can.
If the spectators in my group class can't understand what I taught to all the students, then I didn't explain it simple enough.
One more time. The spectators, meaning not the students. We have
friends.
people come in and sit and watch class. Parents, friends, loved ones come and watch our classes.
Sometimes I ask them, does that technique make sense to you?
Not even to the students. He asked the
spectators.
spectators.
I want to know from the kid's mom, do you understand what that move is? And if she says yes,
you did okay.
Yeah, and all she has to do is understand 50%. She wasn't even paying attention. But when
Right.
she looked up once in a while, she got the gist that you go under the arm, hold your own wrist, and you hurt their shoulder.
Right.
And she wasn't even in class.
There you go. So students out there, use this information to find and identify amazing instructors and identify the rest. And instructors out there,
Use this to teach?
yes, it's yours to keep.
And even
Thank
some
you.
of you who might be training in your garage,
Right.
some Gracie garages.
Right.
For all you know, you're helping someone. You yourself, who might one day become a certified training center, who knows?
Yes.
Or
anything is
anybody else.
possible.
You can start thinking about how to shade your information when you're teaching your child,
Yes.
a friend, a sibling.
Now, you know what's crazy is this process, this incredible, the Gracie teaching formula, this is 1/50th of what it takes to be an amazing instructor. 1 out of 50 pieces to the amazing instructor puzzle. Shading is 1. There are 52 other ones that an instructor needs to learn and become highly proficient in to become a certified Gracie Academy instructor.
We should do 51 other videos for them.
They're already done. They're available on GracieUniversity.com to those who qualify for the instructor certification program. Now, when we teach our formula to the U.S. Border Patrol, to the law enforcement, FBI, Secret Service, when we teach these teaching methodologies to them, they're a very intelligent group of people. They say, wow, Henry, you just showed me how to shade. But this teaching format you guys use, shading included, doesn't apply just to teaching self-defense. I'm going to use shading when I teach people how to draw their pistol and hit the target. They use shading for all areas of life. You guys, if you saw me teach a child how to tie their shoes, you would say, wow, he's shading. And he's using the perfect adjustment. Perfect.
Henry tries to teach me how to play ping pong or something, which I already know how to play. And he even shades with me. I'm like, dude, stop shading. I don't need your shading.
Look,
That's
bottom
how
line,
ridiculous
these
it
are
is.
universal teaching principles that we've tailored to the instruction of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, instructors, take it, use it, it's yours, share it with your friends. The bottom line is, if you're teaching better, that means Jiu-Jitsu is being delivered to students around the world more effectively. And whether you're associated with us or not, that makes us happier, because if everyone knew Jiu-Jitsu, the world would be a better place. Now, that's what it is. You guys, we can't control the passion. Some of you have the fire, some of you don't, to help people, to change lives. If you do have a fire to help people and a love for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and you're a very dedicated student, and you want to help us spread the word, go to GracieInstructor.com, read up on what it takes to join the Gracie Academy Instructor Certification Program, and you can get the remaining 51 pieces of the puzzle. And once you do, man, you will be an amazing instructor.
And you might never even teach jiu-jitsu.
You might
want to just do the program just because, to learn the information.
That is totally allowed. Just become an amazing instructor.
To help you teach snowboarding.
Yes. I think they're ready. Good. You guys, shading, it's yours. Have fun with it. Please let us know what you guys think. We'll see you on the other side.